All right, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Coming to you live tonight on Facebook and maybe YouTube too, if we're lucky. Let me know where you are watching from tonight, who's checking in. I'm curious. And if we have time, we'll answer some questions too. I'm going to answer one question off the bat. Jason said, we getting a blizzard or something? No, it's not cold enough for a blizzard. It's not windy enough either. For a blizzard, you need low visibility and cold temperatures. We're not going to have any of that. So, no blizzard. But pretty moderate snowfall event here coming. And part of the problem that we're going to have is the timing with all this. It's just horrible timing for this stuff coming in. So what are we looking at? Let's talk about the impacts, moderate impacts with this. It looks like widespread 2 to 4 inches of snow. Some areas may overachieve and go over that. Some areas may underachieve and be under that, but that's the general rule of thumb. Even if you get a little more, a little less, I think the impacts are going to be about the same. I expect roads that are going to become snow-covered, slick, especially untreated roads, but even treated roads. There's a time period here I'm going to show you where snow is just going to come down like crazy overnight. And that could give us some issues even on the treated roads because the snow will come down faster than it's going to be able to melt. Plan on a slick, slushy, and slow morning drive. Road crews, they're going to put down salt. Once the snow slows down and even stops, the salt is going to be very effective because the ground's warm. That's going to help us out a ton. And the temperatures, they're going to dip into the 20s. It's not going to be like crazy, crazy cold. All right, there is the winter weather advisory. It's up for everyone in the tri-state. Just started 24 minutes ago. It's going to run through 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. So those are the areas impacted. Look at all the winter weather advisories. Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, all the way up into New England. Some pink up there into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. Those are winter storm warnings. None of those for us, but here comes that push of moisture coming in from the west into the area right now. Already snowing in places like Richmond, Indiana. Roads are getting covered up there already. And a lot of the leading edge of this isn't reaching the ground at last check. Let's check again, see if we got any reports. Yeah, it looks like up there around Richmond, we got some reports of some snow reaching the ground, and near the Louisville area, seen some reports of snow there. But it is reaching the ground back into Indiana now. It looks like outside of our viewing area. But what's going on here? And I get this question all the time. John, I'm looking at snow on my radar on your Weather Authority app, but it's not hitting the ground. Why is that? Well, the reason the air is just so dry in the lower levels is that snow falls out of the cloud. The radar picks it up, but then it never reaches the ground because it sublimates. It goes from a solid to a gas before it can reach the ground. So that's what's going on. The atmosphere's got to saturate before that snow will eventually reach the ground. So what are we talking about here? Well, between 8 and 10, most likely time of arrival there for our western counties, 9 to 11 for the 75 corridor, including the 275 loop downtown Cincinnati, 10 to midnight out east. But I'll tell you, this thing really doesn't get going until after midnight. So let's look at our new model run here. Between now and 10, yeah, the atmosphere tries to saturate. We try to get some snow down to the ground. But, you know, it takes some time to do it. Someone just asked, Daniel said, is Grant County going to have ice? There could be some sleet or ice pellets across the far south and southeast, briefly at onset here. That is going to be a possibility. As far as like ice that coats things, the freezing rain stuff, yeah, I don't really see that happening now. The model's been trending more toward a colder solution. So I'm hopeful that stays out of our area. But some of those ice pellets, sleet as we call it, possible at onset in our southern counties. Look at what happens here. By midnight, we begin to see the steadier snow moving in. Now really look at what happens here after midnight. I'm going to stop at around 4 in the morning. Boom! I mean, that is the burst of snow. We could see some snowfall rates of like an inch per hour at this time. And it doesn't matter how much salt you got on a road. I mean, that kind of snow, it's going to cover the salt pile. It's just going to come down. It's going to come down so heavy that it's not going to be able to melt fast enough. So roads, even if they're treated, they're going to get covered up. And they're going to get bad. 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And that's probably between 3 and 5 in the morning. It's probably when the roads are going to be at their worst there. And somebody just asked, how's Florence going to be road-wise? I think everybody's going to be bad between 3 and 5 in the morning. That's the peak of the storm when things are going to be coming down like crazy. And then after 5, it starts to lighten up, even lighter by 6. And it looks like between 6 and 7, it begins to end for most of us. You can think before the sun comes up, the snow's going to shut off. As the snow shuts off, as road crews salt things, we'll begin to see improvement after the sun rises and gets higher in the sky. That will help warm things up. Again, the ground is really warm, so salt's going to be effective with temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s. Salt will do a great job. It's just that at the peak of the storm, between 3 and 5, that's when that snow may come down so hard that it's just going to cover everything up, even if it's treated. So that's the time you don't want to be on the roads if you can't help it. 3 to 5 a.m. looks to be the peak there of the snow, just coming down like crazy. And get this, there could be a flash of lightning or a rumble of thunder. Could there be thunder snow? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. All right, so most of us get 2 to 4 inches. Here's the thing, though. There's going to be these little bands that set up that produce higher snowfall rates. So there's some spots that could go over 4 inches. In fact, hold on. Looking at my model data here. Just looking at some of my latest model data. One of our high-resolution models is actually showing a little over 4.5 inches for the international airport. And then you have compaction and melding on top of that. So it shows roughly 4 inches for the airport. Same for Lunken, about the same for Wilmington, maybe slightly over 4 for Wilmington. And then in Madison, Indiana, it's showing roughly 3.5 inches. That's the most aggressive model now. On the low end, we got some models showing about 2.5 inches. So if you take the average of that, it's about 3 inches roughly, which puts us in that 2 to 4 range. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little banding going on or maybe a flash of lightning, a rumble of thunder, that those snowfall rates go really high in some spots and we may see, over 4 inches. But, I mean, it's not going to make a hill of beans difference as far as what the impacts are going to be with this thing. I circled our southeast counties because down there we could see a little more of that banding effect, those mesoscale bands, snow bands, where it's a little bit heavier. But there's a look at your chance for getting certain amounts of snow. So over an inch, so say 1 to 2 inches, it's an 80% chance of that. 2 to 3 inches, greater than 2 inches, 60% chance of that. It's for downtown Cincinnati. 3 to 4 inches, 50-50 chance of 3 to 4 inches. And then 4 to 5, it's going to go down to like 10%. And 5 to 6, it's going to drop to 1%. And then anything over 6 looks like the big goose egg out of this storm. So those are the chances for different amounts. There's always uncertainty with snowfall amounts. We just can't pinpoint exact. There's just too many variables. We don't have enough information with everything going on because there's so much. But here's what we're pretty certain of. Moderate impacts area-wide. Winter weather advisory criteria here. To get a winter storm warning, you need to go, 4 or better. And some areas might do that, but just with that uncertainty, they've elected to go with the winter weather advisory. So what are you looking at? A nuisance, a shoveler, a paralyzer. Well, this one here, firmly in the shoveler range. So that's what we're looking at. Greg, thank you. Thank you for the kind words there. Let's see. Andrea, Wilmington, you're looking at 2 to 4, just like everyone else. And, in fact, looking at my data here for Wilmington, some models suggest, generally between, 2.5 to around 4 inches for Wilmington. So that's what we're looking at. So this is a shoveler, folks. Rest of the evening, clouds, but then the later we get into the evening, we begin to see some scattered snow showers, and then it's after midnight. Look at the snow there coming down in the tri-state. So let's talk roads. They're going to get slick and snow-covered after midnight. Again, there's a period there between 3 and 5 a.m. where the snow is coming down to beat the band, baby. And it's coming down so hard that it's going to cover everything. So, we get snow-covered. It's still going to be slick, slushy, snow-covered for the morning drive, depending on treatment level there and, how much plow action you get and how much salt action you get. Untreated roads will just be a mess. It'll just be a disaster if it's untreated. But here's the deal. Again, the ground is warm. This is an early season snow. That always helps us. So because of the warm ground and temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s, salt is going to be a miracle treatment for these roads. It's going to do great, and it's really going to help things out here. So we'll see some rapid improvement there as they salt things down and as the sun comes up and begins to warm things up tomorrow. So there we are early on, some flurries lingering. Snow showers wind down before sunrise at 8, 9, 10. I've got maybe a couple of flurries lingering, but nothing that's going to bring any additional accumulation. Then the clouds kind of stick around and we'll struggle to push up close to the freezing mark there. I want to show you the 7-day forecast. We got the morning snow showers tomorrow, pre-dawn, 32. Then the sun's back Wednesday, 34. So we'll start to get some meltage. And then a little colder Thursday. There's also a chance for snow showers Thursday as a little front passes through the area. It could be minor accumulations there. Friday looks quiet. Saturday looks quiet. A little warmer Saturday. Then another system late Sunday into early Monday could bring a little more in the way of snow showers with perhaps some additional accumulations. But boy, as we start December here, it's way below normal on the temperatures. So it's pretty cold. Pretty cold, to say the least. All right, so if you just joined me, quick little recap again of what we got coming. Let me reload my graphic here. There it is. All right, so some snow showers, 8 to 10, in the western counties, 9 to 11, 75 corridor, 10 to midnight out east. That's the initial little shot of snow that, may produce some quick dustings. And then after midnight is when it really begins to take hold. So here's the modeling again. Between now and 10, we begin to see some of those snow showers. And then midnight, here comes that steady snow into the 75 corridor, really picking up. There's the heavy shot, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, coming down like crazy. And then it starts to wind down quickly. So the sun comes up around 7:30 tomorrow morning. This is going to wrap up in most areas before that. So still some snow falling at 6. 7, there it is, just in our eastern counties. Most areas winding down, temperatures in the 20s, and then that's it. Maybe some flurries out of that low cloud deck there through the remainder of the morning. And what about Ripley? What about Wilmington? What about Hamilton? What about Maysville? What about Peebles? What about Versailles? What about Batesville? What about, any place? What about, name your place, 2 to 4 inches, the best bet. There could be outliers. Let's see a little more than that. Could be some outliers. Southwest, to the west and southwest that maybe come in with less than 2. There's some signs in the models. It could be a little dry slot coming in, but it's impossible to kind of say, okay, this area is going to have 4.5 and this area is going to have 3.5, and it's just that's not how it works with these convective snows. It's kind of like a thunderstorm where some areas get heavy rain, other areas don't see as much rain. It's the same kind of thing with how this snow is going to work tonight. Impacts either way are going to be pretty big. So one of these deals where I wouldn't be on the roads between 3 and 5. If there's a time period, I say, nope, 3 and 5. Now, some of you are going to have to be out there, just the way it is. I get it. But 3 to 5 a.m. is when it's going to be most problematic to be on the roads. So if you have to travel in the morning, take it easy. Give yourself plenty of extra time. Oh, you need some extra time in the morning. And let the road crews do their job. They're going to have their work cut out for them. But, again, the salt should work really, really well as this stuff comes in tomorrow. So that is a look at it. Appreciate you guys for checking us out tonight. I'm going to continue to post stuff over on my Facebook page. I just posted a video to TikTok. If you're any TikTokers out there, got a little 1-minute video going there. Got some stuff on Instagram as well. And of course, we'll be live on the TV sets. If you have a TV set, that's going to be at 10 o'clock on Star 64, 11 o'clock on Local 12, and I'll give you any new information that I have then. But until then, just be careful because, it's going to be pretty slick overnight and into the morning, guys. So